And just like that, we are back. Welcome in to Let's Be Honest. It has been a month since I have seen you guys. Thank you for allowing me the month to just take a minute. And while it was only a month, little hiatus that I went on, it actually, in a lot of ways, felt like an eternity in the best way possible. It was really nice, you guys, having the last month to just slow down a little and regroup, kind of get excited now for the future. You know, because here's the thing. I've actually been podcasting for 4 years straight because while, let's be honest, we've had for 2 years, I did the Back to the Beach podcast with Steven for 2 years before that. And so podding has been my life for 4 years and I've loved it. I mean, truly, this is the ultimate dream job. I'm so thankful for it. But it was nice to be able to take a step back and realize that, you know what, I can do this. And I needed it because what it allowed me to do, not only slow down, and I'll get into what I've been doing for the past month, but it allowed me to kind of take a step back, reassess the pod in general, and kind of look at the last 2 years of like, okay, you know, what's done well? What do you guys resonate with? Where do I want to go now in the future? And because I actually did just sign a new contract for the podcast, so I'm really excited. And I'm going to do another 2 to 3 years. And how I'm sort of looking at it is like season 1 of Let's Be Honest, and now we're moving into season 2 of Let's Be Honest. And I am going to do a little rebrand. I'm launching a new photo, and it's just, I just feel like it's season 2. It's part 2 of the podcast. And when I look at the last 2 years, especially like where I started the podcast with, I feel like I'm a completely different person, which is a good thing. You know, I hope that I continue to evolve and grow my whole life. I never want to look back 2 years later and be like, wow, I'm in the exact same spot. You know, I mean, God, I even think about like the first few episodes, like the fall of 23, I guess it was. Like when I first joined Raya and I was going on a million dates, and like Justin and I were talking about my dating life all the time, and there were so many great stories, and I mean, and it was so fun, right? It was so fun. But like when I look back at that phase, I'm like, God, I don't even know that person anymore, because it's just so different to where I'm at right now. I also, I think, you know, the first half of this year was really chaotic for me, between going on my first podcast tour, filming a TV show for it, being back on TV, you know, doing the whole press circuit for a TV show, and just really feeling like my life was really exposed and I felt really accessible. And I've told you guys, but I don't like when I'm in the media. I really don't. I don't know. I don't think that's something I'll ever get used to. And in addition to deleting TikTok, which I told you guys last time, I don't pay attention to any of the media outlets anymore. I had a fake account and I was following all of the like Us Weekly and People and all that shit. And I unfollowed all of that stuff. I actually don't even really go on my fake account anymore, because that's kind of what it was for. And that is in itself offered me a level of peace. And I did that before deleting TikTok. Like I did that months and months ago. But I just think, and again, it kind of goes with what I said on the last podcast a month ago with, we get to control what information is coming into our world. And so that was kind of part of it as well. But for me, like I really love when I can do the podcast and we can just leave it here. You know, like I love when I can tell you guys things, but when it gets left on the podcast, because like you guys as my listeners are, I would say, like my real people, you know, it's when the media outlets take something from the podcast, turn it into a headline, gets taken out of context, that like, I just don't like that whole thing. And so I felt like with the headline world of it all, it just was a lot. And even though I don't see them firsthand, I can tell with kind of what's going on with my DMs, friends. Obviously, I have a publicist. It's like my mom sometimes will say stuff to me like, I kind of have an idea, right? It's like kind of hard to avoid completely. But so for me, like the last month felt it was sort of reminiscent to like when my kids were little in a lot of ways, because I felt like I was home a lot more, and I haven't traveled in the last month at all, which has also been really nice. So I really did just slow down in every sense of the word. And maybe that was also part of it too for me. I was traveling a lot this summer. June, for me, it was a ton of press for honestly Cavallari. And then July and August, I was traveling a lot for fun stuff, but still, I think traveling, it does kind of take a toll on you after a while. And so in the last month, I've just wanted to be home and just kind of live a more normal life, I guess. I don't know if that's the way to put it, a more normal life, but like just slow down. And I've done that. In the last month, I've been in my kitchen so much more than I was able to be previously, because life has gotten really busy with the kids. I've got 3 kids that are active. They're all doing things. The boys have been in football. Sailor rides horses. And now the boys' football is literally just now ending, and they go right into basketball. And there was like a tiny overlap. And so I have found, since school started at the beginning of August, every dinner was a quick dinner. It was rushed. It was like, because I'm always in the car with the kids, like running from one thing to the next. And so it was like, I was only able to make like the easiest meals possible. And I actually really enjoy making a dinner for 2 hours or an hour and a half. Like I really do love that. I love being in my kitchen. And I hadn't been able to do that. But in the last month, I've done that. And I've even baked. Like I've been baking. I haven't baked in so long. And so that was really nice, because it really reminds me of when my kids were little, because that was kind of what I did. And that was when I was, making all of my cookbooks. And those were really fun for me too, because I really do just love being in my kitchen. But so I did a lot of that. I've been reading a lot, which I got away from reading too. I've always loved reading, even in my early 20s. I remember in LA, when I was living in LA, so that window from 18 to 23, I used to always go to Barnes and Noble and browse around and pick up a ton of books. And I know going to a bookstore is sort of like that's dead now. I don't even know how many Barnes and Nobles are around anymore, which is so sad. Isn't it crazy that it's so rare to see a bookstore now? It's really sad. But I've had a stack of books in my nightstand for years, and I finally have been chipping away at it. I've been reading so many books. I'm currently reading Verity by Colleen Hoover, and I'm sure a ton of you have read that book. I'm kind of late to the game with that one. Again, it's been sitting in my nightstand for probably like 2 years, like since it came out. And Justin actually just told me that they're making it into a movie. So I'm excited about that. But that's a great one. Another book I'll tell you guys about it's called E Squared. And this book is awesome because it's essentially about energy / manifestation, right? It's kind of the same thing, but I like that this book, more than just calling it manifestation, it really talks about energy and how you can manipulate energy and essentially control your life based on your thoughts and feelings, which is manifestation. But again, I kind of like I like that there are like so many different words and approaches to it, but ultimately it's kind of the same thing. But this book gives you 9 different experiments that you can do at home by yourself to make you realize how powerful your mind is. And I love this book because this is kind of the mode that I'm in right now. I've been in this energy in the last few months of trying to see, in fact, how much we can control our lives. And this book is such a great reminder. Well, it can be one of two things. It can be a good reminder for you, or it can be the first time you're hearing this information, and it can be really validating for a newbie to be like, holy shit, these experiments really work, and I can, in fact, kind of control my reality. And I've turned a bunch of friends onto this book, and it's so fun because I'll be like, tell me what experiment you're doing and like, what's the thing that you are calling in. And it works. That's all I'm going to say. A friend told me about this book, and it's awesome. And with all sorts of positive thinking, manifestation, energy, even if you're well versed in this stuff, it's always, I think, a nice reminder, because even like a spiritual practice, for example, the reason it's called a practice is because it is that. It's a practice. You have to actively be practicing this stuff. Otherwise, it is so easy to fall back into old human patterns. And that's something I've really kind of been working on. Well, and you guys know that because I've talked a lot about my spiritual practice on the pod, with hypnotherapy and everything else. But it is something that I find if I'm not active in it, whatever the it is, and for a long time it was hypnotherapy, but you slowly kind of just like go back into old patterns, old habits. And that's why I love this book, because this book really puts it at the forefront of your mind. And like I was making notes in my phone, and because the book tells you to be really specific about things that you want to see in your world, things you want to call in. And it's just such a good reminder that, you guys, we really can control so much of what goes on in our reality. And I know there's probably a lot of you at home listening going, bullshit. And guys, I used to be like that. But that's why I love this book, because I think for all of the naysayers out there, the non-believers, this is a great introductory book to, I think, change your perspective on it a little bit. I would say, listen, you've got nothing to lose. May as well pick it up. May as well try it. See what you can start to manifest into your world. And again, because everything is energy, and they say with manifestation, if whatever you want, whatever the thing is that you're trying to call in, you have to be vibrating at that level. So if you want to call in love, let's say, you have to be vibrating from a place of love, because you attract what you are. And so anyways, I recommend this book to anyone. It's just it's a great tool and a great reminder. And I just think, like it's important. If you care about this stuff, I care about this stuff. That's kind of where I'm at in my life right now, is like seeing how far I can go with it. Like how much I can, in fact, control this, and how many things I can call into my life that I want. What's so cool too about this stuff is that we all want different things. Not all of us want money. Not all of us want love. Not all of us want, the best body. Not all of us want a solid group of friends. Like some of us have that stuff already, or some of us, that stuff just isn't important. And I think that's what's so cool about this stuff, is that we can all call in different things. And actually, while we're on the subject, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast or not. Sometimes everything kind of like runs together in my mind. But when I really first started on my spiritual path, it was around when my brother passed away, which is almost 10 years. It's coming up on 10 years, which is really hard to believe. But I was reading a book at the time, and it was called Signs, and it's written by a medium. And she basically says in this book, we are all capable of receiving signs. You just have to be open to it, and you have to ask, and you do need to be specific. And that's another thing that this book, E Squared, or something that I learned from it, and I think it actually does say it in the book, is that you do have to be really specific. All right, guys, I want to talk to you for a minute about Element. You guys know I love them. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling electrolyte water born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times government recommendation. Each stick pack delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial colors, or other dodgy ingredients. Did you guys know that electrolyte deficiency can look like a few different things, but it could be headaches, cramps, fatigue, brain fog, and even weakness? You guys know I love electrolytes. I think especially if you're really active, or you're traveling. Element is so great because it's these little individual packs. So they're really easy to just throw in your purse, or I keep some at the office, and they taste great too. They have so many good flavors. My current obsession is their lemonade, and it literally tastes like lemonade. It is so good. Their grapefruit is also awesome, and their mango chili, which I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, just try it. If you like a little kick, it is so good. And right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. So this is a great way to try all 8 flavors, or you can share Element with a friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/honest. This deal is only available through my link, so you must go to drinklmnt.com/honest. Boss babes, this one's for you. All right, let's talk about ZipRecruiter. October is National Women's Small Business Month, and guess what? There are currently over 11 million women who own small businesses in the US. So right now, I want to give a little shout out to all of these badass business owners. And you guys know it is not easy being a business owner. You have to juggle running your business with all the other things in your life. And if you need to hire on top of that, then yeah, it's a lot. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes hiring a breeze, so you find the perfect match for your job fast. And today you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/honest. Hiring for any role is such a time suck that working with ZipRecruiter is honestly a lifesaver because they do all of the heavy lifting for you. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology starts working immediately to find the best people for your job. You can find out right away how many job seekers are in your area that are qualified for your role. Hire the right people for your business with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Yeah, you heard that right. The first day. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/honest. Again, that is ziprecruiter.com/honest. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right, let's talk about Nutrafol. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've definitely seen me post about them too. I've been taking Nutrafol for maybe it's close to 2 years now, and they've really changed my hair. I am so incredibly thankful for them. You guys have no idea. I was kind of going through it with my own hair journey. I had a lot of breakage years ago, and I'm finally at a great place. My hair is back to its old self. It's healthy. It's the length that I want it, and it's not breaking anymore. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. It's trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF Contents Certified, which is the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. You guys know I'm also kind of a freak about what I put in my body, and I love that Nutrafol is 100% drug-free. They actually have great ingredients that are good for your whole body, like ashwagandha and peptides. So you guys can also see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code HONEST. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com. That is spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code HONEST. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code HONEST. So the book Signs says, just be open to receiving. Okay, so I said, okay, let me see a butterfly, but the most obvious butterfly on the planet. Like, I don't want just like a little butterfly outside. Like, I see butterflies all the time, but I need it to be so obvious that this is a sign. And I really at the time was like trying to like call in my brother too and like talk to my brother, because that's what this book Signs says, is that you can receive signs from loved ones. I also happen to believe that even if you don't have someone who has passed, I think we all have what's called spirit guides. So I think we all, or if you want to call them angels or whatever you want to call them, we have spirits, let's just say, on the other side who are guiding us if we want them to be. If we're open to it and we ask, they will help us out. So even if you don't have someone who's passed in your life, I still think you can do this stuff. But so I asked from my brother for a very obvious butterfly. And you guys, I think it was the next day, I was sitting on my front porch with Sailor. She was like on a little bike or like a scooter or something. And a FedEx truck came up. And at the same time that this FedEx truck came up, a butterfly the size of my head, I'm not kidding, came and was circling around me. And it was the biggest butterfly I've ever seen in my entire life. And I stopped and went, holy shit. And Sailor was so little, I couldn't be like, Sailor. And like the FedEx guy's like, this girl's crazy. But I like stopped in my tracks and I was like, oh my God. It was one of the craziest things I've ever experienced. And then from there, you guys, I saw butterflies in the most random places at the most random times. I was on an airplane one time on the tarmac waiting to take off. And, you know, we've all, I think for the most part, been on an airplane. We've sat there. You never see a bug. There is never a bug. There is never a butterfly. There's never, like, nothing is out there. And you guys, I was in the window seat, and in the window seat, in the window was a huge butterfly. I mean, I was like, oh, I almost shit my pants. Those are two examples of a million butterflies that I saw. And I have a butterfly tattoo on my arm. And actually what we did at the time was we did a whole butterfly collection at Uncommon James, and I took the CAD drawing that we had, and that was what I made my tattoo out of. And we actually have this butterfly in all of our Uncommon Beauty packaging as well, because the butterfly is extremely meaningful to me. And I really do look at butterflies as a sign from my brother. But anyways, my point being, you have to be open to this stuff. And I am a huge believer in this stuff. So if any of that interests you in the slightest, and just being able to manipulate energy and call in things that you do want, highly recommend the book E2. So, okay. So I've been reading a lot. Okay. Love that. I've been baking, cooking, reading a lot. I've been making really long, elaborate dinners, which it makes me so happy. I've also been at the office a lot more. I usually go to my office on Tuesdays. That's the day I have all my meetings. But last week I went 3 days a week and I loved it. And I don't know. It's been nice for me to be back in the mix a little bit more. And we've had a lot of new hires at Uncommon James in the last few months who are all exceptional, by the way. But the timing of it was great because it allowed me to be back in the mix more than I have been. And it's been a lot of fun. So, but with that being said, having a month off has now, it's re-energized me for the future of the pod. And because even in the last couple of years, I'll take like a week or two off here and there. But even in those 2 weeks, let's say, I'm still thinking about the podcast constantly because I'm so organized and so scheduled and so on top of things that I can't really just like shut my brain off from something for 2 weeks if I know I'm back in a week or two. But what this month allowed me to do, and actually I told myself, I wasn't going to think about the podcast at all. I wasn't going to start planning out podcasts for the future, trying to book guests. I wasn't like, that was it. I was taking an actual break from the podcast. There was one time I went in and I started kind of like outlining things. It was more when I figured out when I was going to come back, which initially I was actually going to come back next week, but I decided I wanted to come back today because I thought it would be nice for us to do just like a quick little check-in before next week when we start the Hills rewatch series, which, oh my God, I'm so excited for this, you guys. I'm so freaking excited for this. The first two are done. I've already taped them. I've watched the first two of my seasons, which, by the way, I think if I remember this correctly, my first season, I think, is season 5, let's say, but it was split up between season 5A and season 5B. And I think I'm season 5B and then season 6. So we'll do those 2 seasons. But watching those first 2 episodes, oh my God, so fun. Way more fun for me than Laguna Beach, which I think just speaks to my mental state of where I was at during both of those shows. But I'm really excited for that. And if you guys like them and they're resonating with you guys and you guys are having fun and you're excited about them, I will do all of the episodes. I think I'm just going to kind of see what the response is for the first couple and see how it goes. But I'm just really looking forward to that. So that'll kick off next week. And what I'm going to do is do every other week a Hills rewatch episode. So if there are people that don't care about Hills and, that I'm not completely leaving you guys out. So we'll go every other week. And the next episode, not Hills related, Justin's going to come on. We will do a little dating update for you guys. Really, the reason why I haven't done a dating update is because I haven't been dating. But I did go on one date, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago maybe. And I do have a date this weekend. Okay. So I think, hopefully, I'll have good updates for you by the time this date is over. So I'm going to save all that for Justin because, Justin and I like to have a lot of fun with it. My point of all this is I'm really excited now. I felt like, I got to slow down a little, got to do the things I wanted to do, got to just be, football mom and take Sailor to ride horses and just do the thing, Basically, I'm just an Uber for my kids, but that's fine. All right, let's chat about Wayfair. I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited that the holidays are approaching. I just decorated my house for Halloween and I'm already thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I love holiday decor. As the holidays approach, get what you need to personalize your home with Wayfair. Shop holiday decor for every room in the house. Whether it's Christmas trees, wreaths, or inflatables for the front yard, Wayfair is your one-stop shop. Refresh your guest room with bedding, linens, throw pillows, and accent chairs for way less. Not only am I excited about all of the holiday decor, but I've told you guys I've been doing lots of renovations. I've added a pool and doing landscape and all the things. So I'm between holiday and outdoor decor. That is all I am browsing on the Wayfair website right now. But Wayfair is so great because they literally have everything imaginable. They have bedding and bath basics. They've got things for your kids' rooms, which my kids always go crazy to have little holiday decor in their rooms as well. And Wayfair is so convenient. They have a huge selection of home items in every style, which makes it easy to find exactly what's right for you. And it's really great because they have free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. So no more huge delivery fees for furniture, which we love. So get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. I'm always excited to talk to you guys about Jolie. If you're not familiar with them, you're definitely going to want to listen up. I cannot even begin to imagine all of the money that I've spent over the years on beauty products, to battle issues like acne or damaged hair, eczema, change in hair color, rashes. I mean, the list goes on, but I recently realized that I was completely overlooking the most fundamental step, the water that I shower in. I mean, we all know how important it is to filter the water that we drink, but why don't we think the same way about the water that we shower in? Clean water is the first step to an effective beauty routine, and it's a step that I just overlooked. Jolie is a beauty wellness company that purifies the water we shower in for better skin, hair, and just overall well-being. Jolie's filtered shower head is best in class for removing chlorine and heavy metals. It's the only lab-tested and clinically trialed filtering shower head on the market. Did you guys know that chlorine is added to our water systems to disinfect it and kill bacteria? Yeah, gross, but chlorine is also damaging to our hair and skin and fundamentally causes issues, which Jolie fixes. Jolie will give you your best skin and hair guaranteed. Head to jolieskinco.com/honest to try it out for yourself with free shipping. And if you don't like it, you can return your Jolie for a full refund within 60 days, no questions asked. jolieskinco.com/honest. All right, let's talk about ritual. There's a lot that goes into my daily routine, I would say, that kind of helps me maintain between exercising, like taking supplements. I think all parents can relate to this, and just really anyone in general. We're busy. We're just busy, between working out, shuttling the kids from point A to point B. There's just a lot that goes into a day. And sometimes this can make it really difficult to switch off and relax at the end of a long day. Well, Ritual's Magnesium Plus puts your evening unwind center stage with a blend of magnesium bisglycinate and tart cherry powder for mind and muscle relaxation. Not only do I love the taste, but this has been a nice little addition to my daily routine because I think magnesium is so great for so many things, and it really does kind of help me unwind at night. And tart cherry has been known to do the same thing. I love it. I mean, I've been relaxing at night. I've been sleeping like a baby. Magnesium Plus features a blend of clinically backed magnesium bisglycinate and tart cherry powder formulated to help support mind relaxation, sleep, and muscle recovery. Ritual selected a bioavailable form of magnesium that's gentle on the stomach. It's clinically studied to support stress and mind relaxation, ease leg cramps during pregnancy, and support period cramping, and provides PMS support. The tart cherry is made from Michigan-grown Montmorency tart cherries, backed by over 20 clinical studies and 15 years of research. So sit back and raise a glass to your new evening ritual with Magnesium Plus. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/behonest. But now I'm really excited about the podcast. This second season of the podcast, we'll say. I'm going to do a little rebrand, and I don't know. I feel like it's just new energy. Like I said, I'm a different person now for this second half of the pod, and I'm excited about the future of the podcast. And I have some really great guests that I cannot wait to share with you guys. I've been kind of freaking out over here. Unfortunately, they're not until a little later this year, but oh my God. I can't wait to tell you guys who. Okay. So also, I'm excited to share with you guys that last time I talked to you, I told you I deleted TikTok off my phone. I'm really proud of the fact I've been off this entire time. I have not gone on, not even one time. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything at all. So it's been nice. And I hardly go on Instagram, which I've actually been posting, I think, more on Instagram because, I don't know, I think for me, like I only have so much capacity for like social media, podcast, where it's like outside world coming into my world sort of a vibe. And I've been able to share, I think, a little bit more on Instagram, just like of even just cooking or whatever it may be, which has been kind of nice too, So anyways, I've stuck to my plan. I've also been learning Italian on Rosetta Stone, which has been so fun. It's just been fun. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing things that are better for my brain. Let's put it that way. Which I think, thank God, because I feel like I needed it instead of just the mindless scrolling. Like, what was I doing? I told you guys, I discovered not that long ago, but it was before the last podcast I did, that there's all of these parental controls for kids' phones, which I didn't know. I had no idea. And so you can set app limits. You can set a downtime on your kid's phone so nothing really works. Which I've done. I did that over a month ago. But also what I've done is, because my kids' downtime would go off at 7 a.m. So they would come out for breakfast in the morning before school and they'd be on their phone. I'd be like, put your phone down. Where now I actually take their phones away at night and I don't give them back until they've eaten breakfast, they've packed up their backpacks, and they are quite literally ready to go, ready to walk out the door. And what do you know? Camden especially has been way more efficient in the morning because he's not distracted. So that's been nice too. And also taking them at night, like, yeah, duh. Why haven't I done that before? And it's nice because, well, I know why I didn't before, because they were using their phones, Camden was using his phone as an alarm. But now I go in and wake him up in the morning and it's kind of nice, It's just more time I get with my kids. So that's been great. So things on the home front are great. Things are going well. I don't know. It's been fun, and football is now wrapping up and the boys go right into basketball, which is also really fun. Actually, dare I say basketball is more fun? Well, yeah, it is, because I'm not worried about them getting hurt. So yeah, from a mom's perspective, basketball is more fun, and both the boys had to try out for the team and they made it. So they're very excited. So I'm proud of them and excited. And one other thing we can touch on is big announcement that happened while I was on hiatus, which I'm sure you guys saw, is we are doing a season 1 Laguna Beach reunion special. I am so excited. Okay, so how this came to be. This has been in the works for a minute, you guys. So Steven and I, we obviously did the Back to the Beach podcast, which wrapped, over 2 years ago. I think it's been 2.5 years. And Steven and I first had this idea before we even ended that podcast. So what we did was, well, actually, it's funny because Steven and I talked about how we would love to do a reunion in Cabo. Like, how fun would that have been? Getting the whole cast of Cabo and doing it like at Squid Row with a live audience or something. It would have been so fun. But unfortunately, the producers didn't go for that. So what Steven and I did, though, was we had this idea to do the reunion. We got Lauren on board, which I know is huge because I know she in the past has not done much. I think the Back to the Beach podcast was the first thing she had done. So that was very cool. So we got her on board. So the three of us are our executive producers. And so from there, we went and got Liz Gately, who was one of the original producers. We got her on board, and then we went and pitched it, which took clearly a minute. It took a while, but finally we found a home for it at Roku. So this is going to be on Roku. It's going to be a 2-hour special. I don't know exactly what I can or can't say. No one has told me specifically, but I've seen everyone else be pretty vague on social media. So I feel like I should follow suit because I'm typically the one that says too much and then I do get in trouble for it. So, but when you guys are listening to this on Tuesday, I will actually be filming for the reunion. So we're doing it all next week or this week when you're listening to it. And I'm just so excited. This is the first time the whole cast will be together. Since the show ended. So it's been 20 years, over 20 years. And I know it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really nostalgic. I think it's going to be a really great way to, as Steven always said on the Back to the Beach podcast, wrap this whole thing up with a nice bow. And I just think it's so cool that over 20 years later, we even have this opportunity. I think, it really speaks to what Laguna was, which I've told you guys, I didn't understand the magnitude of Laguna Beach until Steven and I did the podcast, and the response was so incredible that, at the time, I don't know, it was like 18, 19 years later, it was very cool to see that people were still so invested. And so I'm thankful that, this show has has the staying power that over 20 years later we get to come back together and kind of like redo it in a way. And so I'm really excited. And we are going to be in Laguna Beach filming for a couple of days, which is going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun. And I have my actual high school reunion the end of November, my 20-year high school reunion, which I also can't wait for. Oh my God. So I'm going to be in Laguna a lot this fall, which will be fun. And it's so funny talking to people about high school reunions because it's such a mixed bag of people so excited for their high school reunion or like had the best time at their high school reunion. And then half the people are like, I didn't go. Like there was no way. I could care less about going, which is so funny to me because I'm so excited for my high school reunion. And maybe it's because I didn't get to go to my 10-year high school reunion because I actually had Sailor that Monday and then our reunion was that Saturday. So obviously I had a newborn baby, and actually I didn't know it at the time, but my brother passed that Friday. So that, the timing for my high school reunion, not ideal, but I don't know. Maybe it's because Laguna was such a small school and we all were really close. We knew everybody. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, you guys saw some of it on the show, but we really had a good time. And I've stayed in touch with a lot of people. And so I don't know. I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. So fun things ahead. I'm really happy to be back. You guys know I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for allowing me to take a month to myself, get re-energized, hit the ground running, season 2, or maybe we should call it part 2. I don't know. But I love you guys and it's going to be fun. And so I hope you guys enjoy the hills next week. And then Justin and I will be back the week after that for some fun, some fun. And I hope this date goes well. And then I see him again. And then I've got really good stories for you guys. So we'll see. All right. I love you guys. Be well. And I will see you soon.